Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illuminating Year Ahead reading for the sign of Cancer. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. Now this reading is going to be a little different than my usual monthly readings in that it's going to be taking a look at the full year ahead. So we're going to be for the year of 2024, depending on when you're coming across this. So we are going to be looking at first pulling some oracle cards to get an overarching theme for the year. We'll pull an additional tarot card so we can kind of get a tarot's perspective. And then I'll use a different deck to really dive into what the year is going to look like from the start, middle, and end. And we'll get a little bit more detail coming in at that point. So I hope all of you have had a wonderful start to your new year. I am filming this right before our new moon in Capricorn on the 11th, which is definitely a fantastic goal-setting day for all of us as we are at the beginning of the new year, but it also is in the sign of Capricorn, which Capricorn is all about setting goals and obtaining them. So great energy for the beginning here. All right, so let's jump right in, Cancer. So we do have Poised and Regeneration, two beautiful cards that go hand in hand with each other. When we think about Poised, and I'm actually going to hold these both up so you can see them a little closer here. Now, Poised comes with the number 48, and that reduces to the number 12, further reducing to the number 3. Now, for those of you who listen to me, I always mention the number 12 to me is the God number. It's the number that really speaks to a level of wholeness, and reducing further to the number 3, there's that element of true creativity, self-expression and communication, as well as greeting life with the innocence of a child. So I get from many of you, there's this sense here of being poised to not only jump into the new, but jump into a year that's going to be very supportive of your creativity, of your self-expression, and possibly even getting you into the energy of innocence, of kind of, I'm getting that sense of almost like getting the joy back in your life again. Now with regeneration, this is the number 46. The number 46 to me is also a number that really, for myself personally working with numbers, is a number that speaks to wholeness as well. It breaks down to the number 10, further reducing to the number 1. So there's a sense of endings and beginnings, and also a sense of what can be achieved when we work from the energy of love, when we build foundations from the energy of love. So for many of you with regeneration, there's going to be this sense of not only this year is this kind of like the primed getting ready to kind of jump into the new, but there's also a sense of regrowth, and possibly regrowth or growth that has been maybe a long time coming in an area of your life that has either felt stagnant or has been maybe not focused on for some time, or was kind of cut short. Because when I think of regeneration and I look at this card here, it looks almost like it's been a tree or a bush that's been pruned back too much. And sometimes when we actually cut back a plant like that, it will not grow again the next cycle. It might take a couple cycles to kind of kick back in, or it might never grow again. It can almost become petrified to a certain extent. And that's like what I'm seeing here. But I think for many of you, there might have been this time where, again, something might have been kind of cut short. And now finally here you're starting to see the almost like the buds burst forth. So there's this beautiful element of being ready and primed for that. There's that number 12 with that divinity coming in, self-expression. And then there's a chance for growth, a chance for laying new foundations, and a chance to really bring that energy of love into whatever is going to be sprouting and growing for yourself this year. Okay, so I'm going to also go ahead and read the little excerpt that comes with each one of these, because I do like the little messages in this book as well. And I don't say little because they are not meaningful. I say little because they are short compared to some of the decks I use. Okay, so we have 48. It says poised. Essential meanings: being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The Oracle's message: you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. Love that. And then with regeneration, number 46, it says, essential meanings: rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. The Oracle's message: second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. Wow, Cancer, that really gives me almost goosebumps as I'm reading that. This is a sense of really, a year really coming into your own. And again, that feeling of where something in your life that may have felt stagnant or unable to grow, or there was just a lack of focus, there's that opportunity coming in to really expand in that area, whatever that is for you. Okay, I'm going to pull a tarot card here to get a theme from the tarot for you as well. So let's see, what does Cancer need to know? Okay, so we have the Nine of Pentacles. Great card to have, because this is a card of, it can be a card of independence, meaning that this individual is very well off for themselves. They could be well off financially. They could be well off. They could have a lot of time on their hands. There's a sense with this card when it comes up of being in a very comfortable place, that you have enough time, energy, resources. You also have, again, the time to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor. So it's a beautiful energy. For many of you, this is going to be a year to finally kind of lean into that enjoyment. Now, this could also be a year, though, where there's going to be a comfort zone highlighted for you, because that's the other meaning of the Nine of Pentacles, is that when we can get to this place of comfort and stability and independence, and where we really get a chance to enjoy again the fruits of our labor, this is not the end of a cycle. There's still the 10 of Pentacles, one card away, that completes that cycle. And that 10 of Pentacles can be a home. It can be an inheritance. It can be a legacy that you want to leave behind. And there's that sense of going from the 9 to the 10, but needing to leave this comfort zone to achieve the 10 of Pentacles. And that can be where we maybe are sitting with a flush bank account, but it's time to finally invest in that home that we've been saving for. Or this can be where we have a lot of time on our hands, but we know now is the time to actually start investing that time in towards building something new. You know, this could be where finally you have that time with your family, you maybe have extra time to sit and be creative, and now it's like, okay, what are you going to do with that creativity? Or are you going to start to volunteer? Are you going to start to build a side business? Are you going to get your kids in extracurriculars and start becoming involved with them? There's this sense of having to commit a little bit more. And I know that there's going to be a lot of Cancers out there who are probably rolling their eyes going, oh my gosh, I need to do more in my life? Come on. But there is a sense of, when we step into the new, of really being ready for that. And in order to be ready for that, we have to be ready to push ourselves a little bit. It's almost like when the crops finally start to break ground, we have to be out there watering them, tending them, weeding them. We have to be in that place of energetic, how can I put this? We need to be well rested. We need to be in a place energetically that we are able to see what we need to do to help with this new growth, and to be in a place to also enjoy it as well. You know, hard work doesn't have to just be that hard work for the sake of just hard work. When we think of the 10 of Pentacles, there's generally going to be a deep soul desire as to what that means to you, because it is actually what you most want to achieve in your physical experience. And there's usually that soul calling of, I want that house. but not just to have a house. What does that house represent for you? Does that house represent the security you never had growing up? Does buying that house represent something that your family was never able to do when you were younger? Maybe that you're the first person to ever own property. Does that home represent the future family that you will have? There's a sense of getting very much to the why. Why would I leave my comfort zone here where it's safe and secure and I have just enough to go for that one step further? Why would I go for more than this? And it's because your soul is yearning for that. And that could be, I really want, your soul could be yearning for the legacy you leave through spending more time with your children. That legacy could be, it's time to finally write that book. And that does mean leaving a comfort zone, because maybe now all this extra time you've had is actually going to have to be dedicated towards something. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to pull some tarot cards now to take a look at the progression of the year for you, Cancer. So let's see what wants to come through. This is going to be a very pivotal year. So we do have two big planetary movements here. We have Jupiter moving signs, and we also have Pluto that is moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius, which many people are saying is really the true start of the age of Aquarius, because Pluto is a very powerful planet. It is a planet that when it enters a sign, it kind of unearths what is hidden. It can unearth the dark side as well as the light side, because as we unearth the dark, we also see the light. There's a sense with Pluto of revolutionary change. So with that moving in at the end of this month into Aquarius, there's going to be this big shift internally and externally, because Aquarius is very much focused on the individual expression of the self, but also in relation to how that can be of service to the greater collective. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming to light, a lot of internal ahas and awarenesses within, as we will also see some major, probably technological advancements and greater shifts for the collective without. Now, let's see here. We have the Six of Swords and the Emperor. Beautiful. So this, for some of you, this could actually be a home move. The Six of Swords can be, it's a card of moving on, but sometimes, and depending on the setting, this could actually be a move, a geographical move. It could be also just moving to a new home, something along those lines. It can also represent finally moving on from something that was limiting to you, meaning that you're moving on from that past relationship that held you back from starting a new relationship. You're moving on from the belief that you could never have X amount of money. You're moving on from a parent-child dynamic that was unhealthy, something along those lines. We could be moving on from all kinds of things, but it's something that might have limited us on some level. And with the Emperor coming in, it's putting you in a position of power. I think for many of you, you're realizing perhaps maybe where you've given over your power to something or someone, and you are re-stepping into your rightful place on your own throne. We are all the emperor or the empress to our own empire. And that to me always represents the fact that no one else can live our life for us. Our lives are something that we have to really take the authority and the responsibility for. And when we get the Emperor coming in like this, there's that sense of really understanding that. And it's almost like that feeling of, okay, I'm going to get back. I'm going to go back and ascend to my rightful place on the throne. Now, this is kind of what we're heading at the beginning of the year. Now, this could literally be that some of you, again, are making a true move. I mean, you could even be moving on from a career path or a job as well. And there's a sense of kind of standing in your authority through that. Now, I do like with this Emperor too, there's the sense in this depiction that he's holding a chess piece. So there's something very strategic here for you as well, Cancer, that you are making moves and moving on or away from something, but there is a strategy behind it. This is not just like you wake up January 1st and you're like, I need to move, or my goal is to lose 150 pounds. And it's like there's a sense here of this move, this change, this shift has been a while coming, and you're ready and willing to, again, use that energy of Capricorn to put in the work to do it the right way. Now, with the Five of Cups coming in, for many of you, this is going to kind of push you as you're starting to, really engage with this change and engage with stepping into your full power here. Often that can bring up the Five of Cups. This can be disappointment, regret. It can even be where we're mourning the loss of something or someone. And there can be a sense for some of you where you might actually be looking back and you'd be mourning the loss of time. You might be mourning the loss of a relationship. You might be feeling empowered moving on maybe from a past relationship, but it could also be at the same time that you're processing that final kind of like last little bit of grief that comes through. Or it could be where you realize as you're moving on from maybe a work environment, you realize, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I had neglected my friend or social circles. It can come up in all kinds of ways, but there's a sense of really kind of looking at that and processing those feelings. Yes, and then here we have the Ace of Swords, clarity. It's almost like you realize as you finally process that pain once and for all, there's this like clearing of the board, and it's like, aha, okay, I see the way forward. I see what's regenerating for me. I see the comfort zone, and I see the 10. I see what's coming up for me on the horizon. I see the new goal. It's almost like for some of you, there's that sense of as soon as you kind of get back into that seat of power, it's almost like you have a new perspective. When you think about kind of climbing up to the throne, maybe you've been at ground level for quite a while and you're like, I just can't see the forest through the trees, so to speak. And then all of a sudden you kind of get back into the seat of power and it's like, oh my gosh, I see the way forward. The door is just right over there. I just need to get down and walk over there, and then out I go. I can just move on from this. It's almost like, aha, I see. And this can also be a new truth that comes in too. Ooh, unit, yep, and a new fresh start. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, beautiful progression here. Okay, so with this, and we have the Empress. Oh, I love it. The Empress at the bottom of the deck. Beautiful energy. You have the Emperor and the Empress. You have literally the divine masculine and the divine feminine of the same archetype. And so there's a sense of really embracing stepping into your own power this year. There can be a sense, truth, the Empress, of true creative self-expression. The Empress holds the energy of what each one of us has the ability to create in our life, and how we hold the space for that, how we nurture ourselves and our experience to make space for what we want to create in our lives. Now, with the Ace of Swords, you also have the Ace of Pentacles. And for many of you, there's this awareness of a new opportunity. There's the awareness of that seed that's ready to be planted and ready to be tended to. And I think for many of you, it is the final processing of this grief, of this loss, of, again, disappointment, that there's a realization of, with the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Cups, there's a realization of what you finally can walk away from on an emotional level. You realize what is no longer emotionally supportive of who you are and what you're ready to bring into this life. And that's when you get to make that final wish. You get to make the Nine of Cups wish, which is that wish for the 10 of Cups. So this is a year where you're like on the brink of touching or setting goals towards the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups, which is legacy and what you want to achieve in the physical, with, in addition to that, The Ten of Cups is the happy family card, or having kind of your heart's dream fulfilled on an emotional level. So there's this like almost like this quest that's beginning here to attain both of those. But for many of you, there's going to be a real opportunity towards the latter half of this year. This Ace of Pentacles, this could be a little bit of seed money. It could be you're getting a new job opportunity. It could be this is the final aha, this is the house move, and you realize like this is my new opportunity to start to really grow into this house, and what is that going to look like? This could be a new opportunity to start a business. But there is something here where it is really going to highlight for many of you, again, the Eight of Cups, what is time to walk away from, with your eyes directed towards what you're walking towards on an emotional level. Beautiful energy here. Okay, so I am going to pull some clarifiers, so we'll dive a little deeper into this message. Okay, so let's see for Cancer. What does Cancer need to know about the Six of Swords? What is Cancer moving on from? Okay, so we have, there's the Empress and the Two of Wands. Yeah, there's this final decision, I think, for many of you at the beginning of this year, as you come into it, where it's like, okay, it's time for me to step into my full power as the Empress. What do I want to create, and how can I choose that way forward? Because the Two of Wands speaks to making that decision. It speaks to kind of being at a fork in the road and saying, which way am I going and why? It can also be where we choose to take action in a new way, or maybe we're not moving jobs, we're not changing homes or relationships, but it can be the realization of, I don't need to bring that old dynamic into this relationship anymore. I'm going to start taking action from a new way, from an empowered way, from I used to do this out of maybe being triggered. I'm not going to do that anymore. And there's a sense of choosing either again, to act differently, and in doing so, changing the course of your life or what you want to bring in. So the Empress, if you want to bring in more creativity, or you want to support your ability to maybe even give birth, or there's a motherhood component in here, there's definitely that. But it could be that you are choosing to be a parent. You are choosing to choose a path that supports your creativity, your creative self-expression, and truly, again, what nurtures what you want to create in your life experience. And that choice puts you into a position of power. What do you want to create and see more of in your life? What is regenerating for you? And how can you prioritize it? How can you choose it this year, Cancer? Okay, so let's see the Emperor here. What does Cancer need to know about the Emperor? Okay, so there's the Six of Swords again, the same card as the first card here, and the Seven of Cups. Yeah, you are finally making the decision to move on with the realization that there are so many other opportunities out there. This could be the opposite as well, because sometimes the Seven of Cups, this is a tricky card. The Seven of Cups can represent a lot of opportunity for emotional fulfillment. This can be like where we're looking at, getting into the energy of there's so many fish in the sea, It's like psyching yourself up and saying, I'm going to go back out in the dating world, and making that realization of, oh my gosh, there's, 8 billion people in the world. I'm sure there's going to be somebody else out there for me. If let's say this is moving on from a past relationship, or this could be moving on from a past job that maybe wasn't as fulfilling for you, and you realize, I really want something that focuses on my creativity, or that focuses on creating something more in my life that I'd like to bring in. And you realize, wow, there's a bazillion other jobs out there. Why don't I just start to look for that? It can be something along those lines. And in that realization, that's what's helping you move on from whatever it's time to shift away from. But the Seven of Cups can also be where there's a sense of illusion, or a sense where we can almost get stuck in the, I can't make a decision because there's so many options. And what if I choose the wrong one? What if that one looks shiny and wonderful, but there's actually a better person over here? So there could be that sense for some of you where ascending into the Emperor's throne could either be A, you're finally realizing that there is just so much more out there for you, or it could be the reverse where you're realizing, wow, I really want to commit to something. It's time for me to stop, thinking about like all the random things that I could do, and to say, what is the one thing that really holds value to me? What is the one thing, again, I want to create? And there's that kind of walking away from that analysis paralysis, or the wondering of, is this the right person, or is this the right job? And just say, I'm gonna stand in my authority, and I'm gonna make a decision. I'm gonna move on from this and finally just move forward. But for many of you too, it's also the realization of, I'm gonna finally move on from whatever's been holding me back and realize there's a whole wide world out there for me. So take however that resonates for you. Okay, yeah, so for the Five of Cups, there is the Nine of Pentacles coming in here again. So there's a sense for some of you maybe of, it's almost like you might have achieved the independence you now have. It could be the financial independence you have, or it could be all of the time and, it could be that you're really sitting in a place of, okay, I'm good. I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor. But there's a sense here for many of you, I think, where you're gotten to a point where it's almost like, yeah, but I can't share it with the person I wanted to share it with, or I have all the stuff on paper, but I don't have that support group, and it's disappointing. There's a sense of almost like having achieved this at a loss for yourself on an emotional level. Or again, wanted to achieve this for someone, and perhaps again that person is no longer in your life in some capacity. And that, I think, is going to be the big, whatever was really disappointing or hurtful, or that the Five of Cups represents. There's a sense here of you kind of, I think, getting down to the psychological reason behind why getting to this Nine of Pentacles was so important to you. There could be an element of maybe you didn't feel safe and secure as a child. So you told yourself, I'm just going to focus on the physical. I'm just going to focus on making sure I work my butt off and I have a bunch of money in the bank. And suddenly you realize, oh my gosh, yeah, I did that for 20 years, but what else did I do? It's kind of give me one of those kinds of things where you're realizing, wow, my heart yearns for more than this. Yeah. And then here comes the King of Swords. There's definitely a sense here of King of Swords is someone who comes in and just tells the honest truth. They're an individual who really has the ability to really harness their intellect and the experiences they've had to really dole out wisdom. Now, for some of you too, this could be, because sometimes the King of Swords can be someone who is a judge or a lawyer or someone in the legal system. So there could be something here around, there might have been a legal decision, or maybe you were granted money, or because the Nine of Pentacles can also be the card of the single person, depending on the reading. I mean, this could even be where maybe there was a divorce involved, and there was, something where, yeah, you became single and independent, and you're like, I'm going to work to get myself back to a great place. But you're kind of facing that last kind of pang of, wow, look how far I've come, and that was so difficult to go through that, and yes, I've made it here. And now it's almost like that, with that coming in with the Ace of Swords, it's almost like that clarity of like, I made it. I made it. And for others, the King of Swords could also be that you truly know what you know. This could be where you really used what you know to your advantage to get to this place of comfort and independence. But it also maybe came, with a hard truth. It might have come with, you really needing to kind of use every bit of your strategic analytical mind to get there. And this could also be an Aquarius in your life, depending on, or an Aquarian in your life. depending on what you're seeing in this reading. But I can say for many of you, I think there's more again, just the realization and the truth coming forward of the why behind why you wanted to work to this level of independence, or the truth behind what it took to get here, and maybe what you had to miss or who you had to leave behind as you did that. Now with the Ace of Swords, oh, I love it. You have almost all the aces here. We have the Ace of Wands. There is there's clarity around inspiration. Now, there could also be clarity for some of you. There's, with the Empress and the Ace of Wands coming in here, this could definitely represent a pregnancy or choosing to become pregnant. There could be a choice here where I'm choosing to become a mother. It's something maybe I've regretted. This could definitely be a reading for someone who just worked their butt off to obtain something in the physical, but they realize, what am I missing? I'm missing the people I want to share it with. The realization, the truth being told here by the King of Swords about my independence is that I have no one to share it with. And there could be this realization of, I want to be pregnant. I want to have a child in my life. Or this can be anything of divine inspiration, Ace of Wands. I am inspired by the dream of the future, the dream of the home and the family that I'm going to have. I'm inspired by having a business with my own creativity, not one in which, I'm just kind of sitting by and I got a great bank account and that's all great. But what am I doing with that? What inspires me? I need to get back into that energy. And because this is creative energy, Ace of Wands is what would touch this stunted tree and bring it back to life. This is the magic in our life experience. It's our passion. And it's interesting because, just coming out of the Christmas season, and I know many of you probably are not religious or maybe Christian oriented, but there is a sense for myself of when I come through the Christmas season, I always think about the story of Jesus. And although I'm not religious, I do find that Jesus himself as a example, even if he was not as we claim him or believe him to be, just that example of someone living their passion to the fullest and not expecting anybody else to live it for them or with them, but simply to allow others to witness the expression of that passion into the world, the power that holds. And there's a sense here coming forward with the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. This is like the triad of that power. And what's interesting is that there is no Ace of Cups coming in here. That is what you're going off in search of, is that final piece. It's the soul renewal, it's the cup, it's the love, it's literally the gift of when we have all three of these and we look to prioritize them. The gift that comes from the divine is a soul re-engagement, which is what the Ace of Cups speaks to. It is a reconnection to love, and it could even mean new love. So there's this sense of having the spark of life, the clarity to realize what that represents. And the Ace of Pentacles is the true gift of the new start in the physical. The Ace of Pentacles is what you are going in search of to create the 10 of Pentacles. It's the 8 of Cups and the 9 of Cups. It's the why are you leaving your comfort zone? And for many of you, there's that final realization and that final opportunity towards the end of this year. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creative energy here for anyone who is creating something, whether it is wanting to become a parent, whether it is wanting to literally create something artistic, whether it is, I want to create more of blank in my life. This is the year to really lay that groundwork. Now we have the 5 of Wands coming out with the Ace of Pentacles. And the 5 of Wands can represent healthy competition, where people are all kind of getting back out there again to see this is almost like taking your passion out there and saying, okay, I've reconnected with whatever this is. I need to go out there now and see what I can do with that. It could be getting back on the horse, and that's the fresh start. It can also be where you are maybe taking a look at where there is a little bit of maybe chaos and confusion in your life, and maybe seeing where that can be kind of trimmed away. I'm going to see if anything else wants to come out with that. Anything else for the Ace of Pentacles? I do kind of feel more than anything, though, it's more about, I think, really, okay, yeah, there's the Tower coming in. So the Tower, this is a major falling away. This is a major change in your life. And I think for some of you, there is a sense of seeing where there is a level of chaos, disorder, maybe could be like a over level of competition, meaning that maybe there's your work environment is overly competitive, and so you're pushed to push yourself to work harder when you really don't want to focus like that anymore at work. It can be maybe even in your own life experience, where maybe you kind of, held yourself up to other people in your life and you're competitive in your family or friend groups. But this could also be where finally, for some of you, you're finally just letting down your walls and saying, I'm going to get back out there. So this can be two things. This can be like a kind of a full realization of the safety and security with the Tower that needs to fall away. And that's coming in through a level of unhealthy competition or chaos, and letting that finally just, come out of your life. It's be like walking away from maybe a really chaotic work environment or home environment and finally saying, no, I'm going to have a fresh start. And I'm going to walk out of whatever the Tower represents. The Tower can represent where we have held ourselves back for too long from making a change that is necessary for our forward movement and spiritual growth. This can be where we are clinging to something that at one point gave us a sense of safety and security, but now which is holding us back. We're now trapped in the Tower instead of safe and secure inside of it. And usually something comes in to shake that up for us when we don't willfully want to leave. So there's a sense with this too, though, that for some of you, there is going to be that chance to actually get back out there. And that's the big Tower moment is like you're realizing this is what I want to create in my life. And the Tower comes because you realize I can't just keep painting in my bedroom and then have a garage full of paintings. I need to actually go out there and talk to a gallery and see if someone will host, an exhibition for me, something like that. Or this is the realization of, I want a child. I want a family. That's what I want to create in my life. And there's a realization of, then I have to leave my walled, secure singledom to go out there to get into the mix and see what I'm capable of. So let's see here about the 8 of Cups and the 9 of Cups. What says? Oh, I love it. Knight of Cups, Piscean energy, beautiful. There's a sense of going out there as the hopeful romantic. Yes, and to stop fighting that. I think there's been a sense for many of you that you've been, I wouldn't say pessimistic, but with the 5 of Swords coming in, that represents kind of fighting this part of yourself that wants to go on the romantic quest, that wants to have the rose-colored glasses, that wants to say, okay, I'm ready to walk away from this because I'm ready to bring in more of this, my dream. And it can be scary when we realize that, when we realize that we've kind of been given the gift of everything we need to bring in this dream. It's like being given like the genetic DNA to literally grow the tree of your dreams that will give you everything you need. And yet there's the 5 of Swords. This is the doubt. This is the person who says, no. Those aren't magic beans that are going to grow a beanstalk and I can go up and get a bunch of gold from the giant. Those are just lima beans. I'm going to eat them instead. There's a sense here with that of like the disbelief and the believer against the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is someone who says, oh my gosh, but what if they actually do grow a beanstalk? Like, why don't we just plant one? Or why don't we just give that person a call? Or why don't we just move to that new location we've always wanted to move to. It's that sense. And you're being told that this is that opportunity. By the end of this year, you're going to have that opportunity. It's going to be very clear to you what that is. And there's a chance to really follow your dream, follow your heart, and a chance to take the universe up on the second chance to grow something or bring something into your life experience that you've really wanted to, something that your soul is yearning for. Beautiful energy here, Cancer. Okay, I'm going to pull a final card. And we will wrap up this reading for you. Okay, so let's see. What does Cancer need to know? Now, please keep in mind that energy plays out differently for all of us. Time is not linear, so this could be something that has maybe you're in the middle of processing and will continue through this into 2024. It can be that this might have happened in 2023 and now you are realizing what all of that 2023, you're processing it through this reading to get ready to really bring in now what is ready to regenerate for you. Or this could be where literally you are at step one and this will play out in exactly this way for yourself, but obviously the cast, the characters, and the situations will be unique to you. So please keep that in mind as you are watching this. Let's see, what is the final card? Oh, we have two. Oh, I love it. One is surrender to creativity. Well, creativity is the name of the game for you, Cancer. Wow. And surrender to miracles. Two of my favorite cards in this deck. We have surrender to miracles. It says be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. Surrender to creativity. Let your imagination soar. Stay open to all creative ideas about how to pursue a dream or solve a problem. And I love that. This is just a year to get into your creativity, to also prioritize your creativity. This is a year of when we have the Emperor and the Empress. This is harnessing both sides of that energy. One in which there's the masculine initiation or initiative quality, which is initiating, taking the lead. Again, standing in your authority and autonomy in your own life. And the Empress is holding space. It's being in that receptive state of what do I want to create and how can I hold space for what I want and really allow for that to come in. There's this element of having to receive as much as initiate and give. And that's beautiful. So there's really is just this true kind of, I'm seeing almost like, the Big Bang here, especially with all of the aces. There's a sense of the Big Bang of creation, and it's like it's creating for you your own little world, whatever that looks like for you. And with the miracles coming in, this is really speaking to this final card over here with the Knight of Cups, of trusting your intuition, getting into that place of optimism. Put those rose-colored glasses on, because sometimes we need to see the world that way, to be able to pick up on something that maybe in that kind of rose-colored light we would have only seen. So really, really bring that to heart. Keep that in mind for this year. All right, I hope you all have a wonderful year ahead, Cancer. I also hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to book your own personal reading to take a look at an area of your life that needs additional illumination, or if you'd like to take a look at what 2024 holds uniquely for you, you can click on the link in my description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next illumination reading. Bye, Cancer.